Hi everyone. So this week we're going to talk about another insect that pollinates for us and helps us get food, and that is butterflies. So butterflies play a very important role in pollinating the plants, flowers, and vegetables that we need on the earth. They actually eat the nectar, so they, unlike honeybees that go to the flower to collect it to go make something else, with the nectar that they eat, the butterflies themselves actually eat the nectar straight out of the flower, and we'll talk about that a little later. But because they like nectar and they eat it, they'll land and get pollen on their feet and on their bellies, and then they'll take it to a new plant. A butterfly's life cycle is they start off as an egg. And a butterfly likes to put their eggs either on leaves or hide them on bark, a nice safe place so a predator that's looking to eat those eggs can't easily find it. And then the caterpillar will hatch out of the egg and they will eat what's really close to them. Most caterpillars do eat the soft outside part of their shell, and then they'll eat the leaves that are around them, and then they'll go and find more food. And as they grow and develop, they'll eventually come to a point where they get full and they'll stop eating, and they will make what's called a chrysalis, as you can see hanging from a branch. And they stay in there for a little while, but then they emerge from the chrysalis, which is a pupa, as a butterfly. Now, they can't just emerge and fly right away. If you've ever seen a butterfly emerge from a chrysalis, you'll notice that the wings are actually bent a little bit and wrinkled. So they have to stay someplace safe for a little while and start flapping their wings slowly. That way, the little tiny veins in their wings can actually start pumping the blood through the wings themselves, and it straightens them out and it stiffens them up, and it allows the butterfly itself to dry a little bit, and then they are able to fly away. So we talked a little bit about food for both an adult butterfly and a caterpillar. The caterpillar of the butterfly will only eat plant leaves from certain kinds of plants because they need the vitamins and minerals from these plants to grow into butterflies. For example, a monarch butterfly can only eat something called milkweed, which we do have in the garden. Most butterflies, though, once they are adult butterflies, will drink nectar from flowers that they live by. So once that monarch caterpillar turns into a monarch butterfly, it's no longer just looking at the milkweed. It can then go and drink nectar from all sorts of flowers. And a butterfly will use their long tongue like a straw, and their tongue is called a proboscis, and they will stick their tongue down into the flower, as you can see in the picture, and just suck up the nectar. So that long black thing coming out of the butterfly's mouth is actually its tongue, and it's sticking down into the flower, and it's able to suck up the nectar. So I've had a lot of questions about, I've seen butterflies sleeping. Butterflies actually do not sleep like you and I sleep, or other animals sleep like our cats and our dogs. They actually do what's called a quiescence. And what a quiescence is that they kind of just rest. So they actually do not have eyelids, so they can't close their eyes like we do. They kind of just rest with their eyes open. And they normally do their quiescence when it's cloudy or hard to see during the day or rainy, and especially at night and when it's cool. They'll hide in bushes and flowers and upside down, as you can see in our picture, under leaves and twigs in the trees. The butterfly species is one of the greatest species of insects in the world, with 24,000 different varieties of butterflies. So that's kind of a lot. And our state of Florida actually has a state butterfly, and for those of you that don't know, it's called the zebra longwing, and that's what's pictured here. Some species of butterflies actually have the ability to taste with their feet, which is kind of crazy. But they use that trait, which is something that's given to them, to tell whether the leaf will be good food for their caterpillars when their eggs hatch, or if they should kind of move someplace else that would be better and allow their offspring, which is their babies, to survive. So, a couple of fun facts about butterflies is that butterflies flap their wings about 5 times every second. During the winter, some butterflies like to hibernate. They will hide in safe places like under leaves, in caves, and even inside your home. In America, the monarch butterfly migrates 1,800 miles every fall to the warmer climates of California and Mexico. Butterflies have many different sizes and colors. The smallest butterfly is only about 1/8 of an inch, but the largest butterfly is nearly 12 inches long. Butterflies have the ability to see the colors green, red, and yellow, and this is actually helpful to them when they are finding flowers and nectar to eat. So before we go into the hands-on portion of my lab, I just wanted to tell you guys we have, I think, roughly 3 weeks left of school after this coming week. Well, I'm saying this coming because I post these on Friday, but we have 3 weeks left. I just looked of school, and I like to try to teach you guys stuff that you want to hear about. What do you want to learn about? So, I do my best with the last couple of weeks of school to try to teach you guys new things that you're interested in. So I need to hear from you. What do you want to learn about? What would interest you in these last couple of weeks of school? Now, I do want to warn you that doesn't mean I'll get to your idea or if I had the majority of people want something different, but I will try my best to do something that interests everybody. Okay, so we actually, with this, we have 3 different projects I'm going to show to you because if we were actually in the lab, I would have acquired what's known as painted lady butterflies, and we would get them and be able to watch them from eggs through their caterpillar and chrysalis stages and release them as butterflies into the butterfly garden. But unfortunately, we can't do that this year, but I do want to give you the chance to see some of the stuff we did. Now, because I had to find instructions online because I couldn't show it to you, um, they are a little bit different than what I do in the lab, but not a lot. So the first project is static electricity butterfly, and this one's kind of fun because you make a butterfly out of tissue paper and you're able to use the static electricity to make its wings flap. And the website that I have provided does a very good job at explaining how to attach the butterfly and everything in order for you to get the wings to flap. But you do need cardboard or at least something to stick the butterfly to, tissue paper, and a balloon in order to get the static electricity. The next the next project that I have is a coffee filter butterfly. Now, the one that I have here today to show you guys is much different than what I actually do in the lab. In the lab, what I would have them do is cut out a butterfly from a coffee filter and do what's called a drip art, but I couldn't find the instructions for you guys, and this sounded just as fun. And it shows absorption, which we've talked about earlier in the year, where a product such as paper towels can suck up liquids, which is absorbing it. So this kind of reinforces our absorption project and allows you to do your butterfly project as well. So there is the link to the coffee filter butterflies if you would like to do that. Now, project 3 is my all-time favorite. I've done it a few times. Now, I will warn you, there are videos on YouTube that you can watch which may be helpful. And also, if you try to do this, please, please, please have a grown-up with you because they need to help punch the holes in the plastic because it gets a little thick. Now, for the actual crank part, the part you spin, I have in the past used really thick paper clips. You don't have to go get the special wire that they talk about in the instructions, but instead I used a really thick paper clip and it still worked just fine. So you may need to make modifications with what you have at home, but this is probably the hardest experiment that I have for a project for this week, but it's really fun to see the butterfly flap its wings up and down. And again, this is one of those projects that I would recommend an adult help because the plastic can kind of be tough to poke holes through and things like that. So those are my 3 projects, and as always, I would love to see if you decide to do them or not, but they are not required. However, what is required is the quiz, so I hope you guys head on over and do a wonderful job on your quiz. Have a great week.